In today's video, we are looking at a single entry system. Single entry system. So, in the previous video, I said under financial accounting, there are two ways or two types which they use to record financial transaction, and one of those two categories, the first one is single entry system, and there is what we call double entry system. So today our main focus is on a single entry system. What is it, and what does it do in business? Okay, so um, uh, rather of the more frequent double entry system, a single entry system records each accounting transaction with a single entry to the accounting record. Okay, so the single entry system is focused on company's earnings, which are disclosed in the income statement. Okay, so cash disbursement and cash receipts are the primary data points tracked in the single entry system. Assets and liability records are typically not tracked in the same system. They must be tracked separate. Okay, so let me try to highlight some of the terms here. So what is single entry system? So um, okay, so we are talking about recording financial transaction just once into accounting records. Okay, so the single entry system, this statement saying it only forecasts only company's earnings, so which are tracked in the income statements. Okay, so talking about cash disbursements, okay, and cash receipts. Okay, so let me try to elaborate more on this highlighted terms. Okay, so we're talking about recording financial transaction into accounting records and a single entry system. So and the easiest, we're saying this is a type of a system where financial transactions are recorded once. Okay, there's nothing like you get to account, then one financial transaction is affecting two accounts. One must be debited, the other one must be credited. That is the procedure of double entry system. Now in single entry system, we just record that financial transaction once, and here it is a guide. There is a guide here. So the single entry system is focused on a company's earnings. So it only focus on the company earnings, which are disclosed in the income statement. Because there are so many, there are about 4 financial statements, and there are about 5 elements of financial statements. So you need to identify which elements falls under income statement. So let's go down here. So cash disbursements and cash receipts are the primary data point tracked in the single entry system. So cash disbursement and cash receipts are the primary data points tracked in the what? In the single entry system. So assets and liabilities records are typically not tracked in the single entry system. They must be tracked separately. Okay, so as we're recording single entry system, financial transaction under single entry system, the statement here is guiding us to say it's only focused on company earnings, which are disclosed in income statement. And if you look at income statement, we'll look at it later. But the elements of income statement, it is revenue as well as expenses. In other words, you can call it as income statement is composed of trading and loss accounts. Talking about trading accounts, we're talking about sales, purchases, and the likes. Inventories, those are what we are calling trading accounts. Loss accounts, typically we are talking about expenses. So trading and loss accounts are the main elements of the income statement. Now, talking about trading accounts, or let's say cash disbursement, this statement only means how the business spends its cash out of the business. Talking about cash receipts, we're talking about how the business receives money into the business. Okay, so as you are doing the trade, as you are trading, you'll be spending the money out of the business, which is falling under cash disbursement. Either funding the project, buying raw materials for production, just doing different things in that particular company. But as long as you are getting that money out of the business and spend it somewhere for the purpose of earning more, we are talking about cash disbursement. And cash receipts, we are talking about receiving the money after doing the trade for the same money you spent. After funding a project, that is cash disbursement. We are taking the money out of the business and funding that particular project. And as you start operating or trading, you are receiving cash into the business. You are talking about receiving cash. Or for example, for the sole trader type of business, you are selling the inventories or items. In other words, you can call them products. As you are selling, sometimes you may be selling on credit. So as you receive the money, that is symbolizing receipts, receiving the money into the what? Into the business. And the cash disbursement, we are talking about maybe spending your money to buy the products for resale. Okay, so that is the easiest way we can understand this. So that's all about a single entry system. We are talking about it only records cash disbursement and receipts. So where assets and liabilities, you will never find them into this type of businesses. So this type of what? Records. It must be recorded separately. It is recorded but separately. Okay. So single entry bookkeeping is a simplified technique of bookkeeping in which each transaction is documented in a journal as a single entry. This is a cash-based bookkeeping approach that keeps a diary of incoming and leaving cash. Okay, let me just try to highlight some of the terms here. This is cash-based bookkeeping. Cash-based bookkeeping approach. Okay, I was just saying that this type of recording, you can only record cash disbursement and the receipts, of which I explained cash disbursement, what it means, and the receipts. So talking about this approach that keeps a diary of incoming cash. We are talking about receiving receipts, cash receipts, because the money is coming into the business. And talking about Leaving cash, we are talking about cash disbursement, whereby you are spending the money out of the business. Okay, you are spending the money out of the business, either paying rent, okay, buying products, buying assets. So they are cash based bookkeeping. Okay, okay. Now let us see how single entry system works. Okay, let us see how single entry system works. So you keep a cash book in single entry bookkeeping to record your income and expenses. Begin with your current cash balance for a specific period, then add your income and remove your cost. After accounting for all of these transactions, you calculate the cash balance at the conclusion of the specified period. Okay, so what does this mean? Again, we're going to highlight some of the terms. So begin with your current cash balance. Okay, for a specific period, and add, okay, add and remove your costs. I'm just trying to write some of the terms here. And after accounting for all these transactions, you calculate the cash balance at the conclusion period. So calculate cash balance. Okay. So as you are recording financial transactions under single entry system, you may find that it has different columns compared to the to the double entry system. This one has got a credit column and a debit column, as well as a balance column, debt column, and the, let's say, details column where you're recording the transaction. You're naming the type of a transaction, if it is buying, selling, and the notes. You can also add the notes column where you specify what was being sold or the type of receipt which was received. So as we are doing business, you'll find that in the balance column, there will be something there. That's the reason why they are saying begin with your current cash balance. So the day you want to start recording that particular transaction, the first thing to record on that particular day is to check how much is in that account as a balance for that particular business. Because as you start recording your financial transaction, if you are receiving the money or maybe getting the money out of the business, it will be affecting the balance. So each financial transaction will affect the balance. It's either the balance will increase or the balance will reduce. And the balance can only increase if you are receiving cash receipts. The balance can reduce on the other side if you are taking the money out of the business, either by buying something or paying rent or salaries, wages, whatever. So this is what they are trying to talk about here. So you begin with your current cash balance for a specific period, then add your income and remove your cost.